Welcome to the segment on Lookup Tokens. To me, this is one of the most pleasurable things in this software. I know I've said this before, but obviously there's a lot of things I like in this software. But this is one of the ones that saves me a lot of time in filling out my title page. If you'll go into the main screen of Winner, and what I would like you all to do is to click on the editor, and I hope by this time you have created a title page or a cover page for yourself, and I would really like you to open that include file. Now, I've opened this include file because this happens to be a file from one of my clients, and I want to show you what she has done. She has used stop codes every place that she needs to type something in, and this is exactly what I would like to see you do, so that when she depresses the F7 key, it automatically stops in a location where she needs to type something in. So at this point, she just does Alt-D and types in what she needs to type in. Depressing F7 again and Alt-D again, she can now type in the claimant's name. I still can't type, as you can see. And F7 again, it takes her to the case number, and she can fill that in. And F7 again, and now we're down on the next thing she needs to fill in. And F7 again, and so on. Now, here she's got the deposition of, and this is where you'll notice right here, her bracket, her stop code bracket, is bolded, which is a nice little addition, so that when she types in Melanie Dennis, and then she can move on to the next one, and the next one, and so on. Now, right here, what she's done is she has set up a choice, and she can pick either 1 or 2. So I'm going to depress 2. And it selected the PM and so on and so forth through this transcript. Now, Lookup Tokens. This is the best thing since peanut butter. And in order to show this to you, I'm going to go to my title page. Please forgive me here for 1 second. All right. In my title page, I used to travel through many states, so I've actually created databases for the states that I covered, the counties that I covered within those states. So, to give you an idea of what you can do, anytime you have the @ symbol with an identifying name, when you are doing F7, it's going to immediately stop there, and it's going to open up this database. I can select the state that I want, click replace, it immediately goes to my next database, and I am going to select the county. Again, New York. My judge, if it's applicable. Now, I would not do dates. I have since learned a lot from doing this, so I really don't think that's a worthwhile one. And then addresses. Now, what I have done is I have taken and made @address my identifying marker for my attorney's names and addresses. Okay? Now, here's what I want you to do. You are now in your include page. And because you're in your include page rather than within a working file, you are going to need to use this icon right here, which is for Lookup Tokens. So first things first. What I need you to do is, under Appearances, you need to decide where you want the address to start. Now, I used to have my address way out here. I have since just put it in one tab, and I did that to make it easier for me to create my tokens database. Because after each line, you need to place the number of tabs that you want the second line to come in. And if I kept it over here, I would have to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tabs in. So to make it easy on myself, I've changed the way I've done things a little bit. So what I'd like you to do is decide where you want this, and I would like you to put the @ symbol and an identifying name. You can use address, or you can do @plaintiff, or @defendant, or @attorney. It does not matter. It doesn't matter if it's upper or lower case either. Now, once you've done that, put your cursor in front of the @ symbol, and I want you to use your shift and your down arrow key, and I want you to highlight as much space as you think you will need to accommodate the amount of lines for your address. After you've highlighted it, and yours will probably show not a continuous highlight as mine does, because mine is already in single spacing. Yours will have breaks in between. After you have done that, I want you to go up here to the format area, and I want you to click the down arrow, and I want you to enter on single. Once you've done that, it should show this in a continuous black line that you are now in single spacing. If you have more than one address area, some people have for the plaintiff and for the defendant, I want you to do the same in each area. Once you've done that, please put your cursor in front of your address or your identifier, and I want you to go up and I want you to click on the icon that says Lookup Tokens. You will notice when you do that, it immediately highlights this and opens your tokens window. Now yours right now is blank. What we're going to do together, we're going to create an address. So I want you to click on Add, and I want you to type in exactly the way you would like to see your very first line. So if it's the name of a firm, I'm going to do this one Owens and Logan. And then I am going to use my lesser than symbol. That says come down onto a new line. I am then going to follow it with a greater than, which is a tab. So depending on how many tabs you said to come over here, that's how many greater than signs you're going to need to use. Hence, this is why I changed my layout, so it would make it quicker for me. My next line is going to be the address. So I'm going to put an address in here. And again, I'm going to say come down onto a new line, come in one tab, and I'm going to put the city, state, and zip. Once I'm finished, I'm going to click the OK button, and you will notice right here it is. Now, let's click the Add button again, and I want you to be doing this with me so that you can get a couple addresses in for your attorneys that you deal with most frequently. Because the idea of this is, every time you're scanning through your title page and it stops on address or a different database that you've created, those of you in court, you may be in front of 15, 16, 17 judges. Make a database of all your judges. But when it lands here, you can immediately click Add, type in your attorney's name and address, and never, ever, ever have to type it again or copy and paste it again. And that's the beauty of this. Now, another option you have is what I have done here, and let me show you. Sometimes you have law firms, and within those law firms you might have 20, 30, 50 different attorneys. You can actually create a database within a database, and that's what I've done here. I have Weissek and Springer, and then I have on the second line by. I've opened a squiggly bracket. I've put at name. I have my new line, my tab, the address, and so on. Once I'm finished with this, what's going to happen is, because of this at name, the way it's set up, it's going to put in the address the way I have it here, but it will then immediately go back and give me a database for this firm name of all the attorneys. And let me show you how this works. So, this is what will happen. When I do F7, it's going to stop there and open that database. I'm going to select Weissek and Springer, and I'm going to say Replace. Now, you see what it did here? It put in Weissek and Springer, the address, but it's now stopped at name, where I have the names of the attorneys. And again, when you have this set up, all you're going to be doing is clicking Add and keep adding until you get all your attorneys in the way you want them. I'm going to select William Johansson, and I'm going to say Replace. Now, let me go up and show you what it looks like. You're going to notice that what I've done, when I put my at address here, I then highlighted my at address and I bolded it, so that the very first line of my appearances, which are usually the firm name, will be bolded. I just like the way it looked. I also set it up to indent one. So I've got Weissek and Springer by William Johansson, and it was just very simple. I got a database, I clicked on the address I needed, and then I selected the attorney that I needed. Let's go back up to the top of the page for a moment. Don't forget now, you can have at address or at state, at county. You can set your at judge to make a list of judges. You can put stop codes anywhere in your software where something needs to be inserted or included. That is all there is to creating a lookup token database. Now remember, right now you should be in your title page, your actual title page, include file. I need you now, if you've created an address and you did all the things that I told you, single spacing the area that it comes into, I need you to make sure you hit F2 to save your include file. Once you've done that, it's going to allow you to, and I'm going to clean mine out because I don't want to, I want to put everything back to the way it was before I started. But what you want to do now, after you've saved it, is get out of the file. And now what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to go back into the editor. I would like you to open up a file that does not have a title page and manually depress F3, and I would like you to select, double click on your title page. If you do control page up, it'll take you to the top of your page. And now that you're in an actual file, I want you to try out your F7. So when you depress F7, it should automatically stop on the first database. Now, remember, you've got to replace all here. If this identifier appears anywhere else in your title page, like for myself, when I have, on some of my title pages, I have two addresses. If I leave this checked, I'm going to get the same address in both places. So I want you to uncheck this. And if you uncheck it now before trying out the first one, when it goes immediately to the next one of the same identifier, you're going to be able to select a different attorney's name and address or whatever. So I'm going to do replace. I'm going to select another one here and say replace, replace. You see how quick this can be? I'm going to replace, and here I am at my addresses, and I'm going to say replace and replace, and so on. Now, this particular format that I'm using here is not correct, but you saw it on the other one, how it should work. And that's how I am hoping it's working for you right now. If it is not, please check with our technical support, because I've got to tell you, out of all the things that you can do for yourself, if you have a lot of information to fill in on your title or cover page, if I were you, I wouldn't want to be doing it over and over and over and over and over again. I don't care if you've been in the habit and you think it's quicker for you to copy and paste or to replace information. If every time you generate a title page you have to go in and replace information, you are wasting incredibly valuable time. So, I hope this helps you. I hope it saves you a lot of time. Alright, that concludes how to create unlimited numbers of lookup token databases. I'll be back in a moment.